Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm the chocolate starfish in the hot dog flavoured water. And coming up today, we're going to talk about reports of backstage heat on Sammy Guevara in AEW. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite getting the highest TV rating in 6 months. And as well as that, we've got Brandi Rhodes, who has deleted her Twitter seemingly in the wake of online backlash.
Plus, I'm going to tell you what AEW means when they say they don't want to do a Drew McIntyre. That match has been booked for TakeOver 30, and without question, the maddest story you'll hear this week. This is the news.
Yeah, stick around for that one at the end, because it's insane. Think insane, multiply it by insane, and you've got something squared insane. I don't know. Let's talk about Sammy Guevara. So unfortunately, there was the incident this week on AEW Dynamite. It was the segment between him and Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy got busted up. He got busted wide open. There was blood peeing everywhere. He got hit in the face by a chair, which was thrown at him by Sammy. It, like we said yesterday, actually added quite a lot to the segment. It's just a shame that Matt obviously got hurt. He had 13 stitches after the show. Injuries aren't thought to be severe, but you know, the poor guy bled half of the contents of his body over that arena floor. A little bit of chat on this regards to Sammy and what happened there comes from friend of the channel, Brian Alvarez, who was speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio about the incident. So basically what happened here is AEW put like a folding chair at ringside for Sammy to throw at Matt. Now, Sammy couldn't find this chair, this specific chair that probably wouldn't have busted Matt's face to pieces in the way it did. So Sammy kind of panicked a little bit and he rushed around looking for another chair. He picked up a heavier one and he used that. He threw that instead off Matt's head. All done in the heat of the moment and so forth, but that's why Matt was busted open. He used the wrong piece of equipment. Now, according to Alvarez, Sammy got backstage and a few people were pretty unhappy about this, as you can imagine. And Sammy was given a stern talking to by several people backstage. Now, there's no word on whether or not Matt will need to miss TV time as a result of this. He's had his stitches and so forth. Probably won't wrestle at least for a few weeks or get particularly physical because you don't want to open that thing up again. But, you know, it comes just a few weeks after Sammy had returned from a 30-day unpaid suspension when those remarks towards Sasha Banks were resurfaced on Twitter. That awful clip of him there. You hate to hear stuff like this. You don't want to hear of, you know, something going wrong in the way this did. But, you know, you can understand it. It's a learning process, right? I mean, the guy's only been a TV wrestler for a year. He's obviously been on the indies and so forth before that for a longer period of time and stuff. But, you know, hopefully there's no ill will between him and Matt Hardy in particular. There's no implication that there is. It's just a shame to hear regardless. And, you know, I hope Matt's head's okay. I hope he's taking his ibuprofen.
Yeah, I'm basing this on absolutely nothing, but I would hope and think that there isn't any ill will between the two men. Matt seems like a lovely bloke who's been through it all in the business, and I doubt he will hold a grudge for this. I can't help but feel a little bit sorry for Sammy Guevara here. And before you call me a hypocrite, that is because this is the first time I can remember anyway, that he has injured anyone that we've reported on it. So, yeah, this is a one-off, it seems. And also, like you say, you know, gimmick chair, whatever you want to call it. If he can't find it and he knows that's the spot they have to go to and he's surrounded by chairs, you can't really blame him. Yes, maybe he should have taken a bit more care lobbing it at Matt Hardy's head. But, you know, if you're watching a match and you see a wrestler trying to get a weapon and they're looking underneath other weapons, it's going to completely take you out of the match. Now, I'm not saying that excuses absolutely anything that they do, but I can't help but feel just a little bit sorry for Sammy Guevara.
People make mistakes in the heat of the moment. The hope that when this happens is that they learn from it and it doesn't happen again. I believe that'll be the case.
Exactly. Right, let's continue to talk about AEW, and I'll explain why they said they don't want to do a Drew McIntyre. That doesn't mean they do not like Drew McIntyre. I can't think of many people that don't like Drew McIntyre. He seems like a lovely bloke from all reports. But basically, Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio they don't want to do a Drew McIntyre. And by that I mean make any sort of major booking decisions or title change or anything like that during the empty arena era. Basically, doing a Drew McIntyre is putting your WWE Championship belt, for example, on someone else defeating Brock Lesnar in WrestleMania's main event, sort of. There's about 20 main events this year, so I can understand where they're coming from here. You know, you don't want to lose those huge paps that you would get if crowds were there. And I don't, certainly as a viewer of AEW, you don't sense that they're sort of shying away from big moments. It just feels like they're teasing out a little bit. The inevitable breakup between Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, for example, or FTR and the Young Bucks properly going at it. I sense that they're just trying to hold off on it, you know, not necessarily for a year or something ridiculous like that, but just, you know, give themselves a month so there's a possibility that you could have that amazing crowd reaction that we all want to hear again, but we all understand why we can't right now.
Yeah, this is a very understandable stance. You look at the Drew McIntyre thing in particular, and I think most people would agree that Drew has done an excellent job performance-wise as WWE champion. He's had good matches, he's cutting great promos. You know, he was great before that as well. The run from the Royal Rumble and just before that when he just turned into this banter babyface. It's been great. He's done a tremendous job and he deserves to hold that belt. However, the moment was dulled somewhat by going down in an empty performance centre, and it's quite understandable that AEW might have these ideas. Maybe it's Darby Allin beating Cody finally, or such and such turning on such and such. A few of the incidents you've described there as well. It's totally understandable that they'd want to wait until there's a live crowd there that can go pop, 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 pop. We saw it with the postponement of Blood and Guts. That was put off because they felt they needed an audience. When Dave Meltzer was talking about this, he did say that, you know, it becomes an issue if this thing goes on for a year and they're like, oh God, we've still got all of this stuff here saved up. How are we going to fill the gaps between now and then? But that's an AEW problem. That's not for us to figure out on their behalf. But I can't disagree with this. I think it's a good move. They've done things like debut Matt Hardy and so forth, and that would have been cooler with a crowd as well. But they're clearly holding off on the bigger moments for now.
Yeah, call me biased, but I have faith in AEW balancing this one out. Like, for example, I don't read that story and think, well, Jon Moxley's retaining the title at All Out, because it wouldn't be a pop if MJF won it, or not the way that you would, you know, expect. He's a git of a heel. Like, you could probably do that in an empty arena and get a similar sort of reaction, a sort of shocked silence that you would have with the crowd anyway. So I'm not ruling all of that stuff out. And also, I don't think it's WWE being shot on necessarily by AEW. It's just, you know, demonstrating what they're talking about. Because I think everyone sat here and said, oh, well, they're going to take the title off Drew just before crowds come back so they can actually have that moment again at a SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, whatever it may be. So I think, yeah, it's just dealing with the situation right now in the best possible way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about AEW, stick in that territory for a little bit. So we said the other week that we're probably not going to talk about Wednesday Night War ratings unless there's a story coming out of them, and there is a story coming out of them this week. That being Dynamite scoring its highest rated show since February 2nd, since pre-Global Bastard. This is a ridiculous week. Like, this is a huge success in that regard. It's a 0.36 rating in the demo, which is the highest since February. And on top of this, the overall viewership of 901,000 is higher than it has been since the 15th of March, 5 months. It's, yeah, the promotion's most successful week since this whole thing kicked in, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because sports are back. MLB, NBA, the one with the puck and the stick and the fights, NHL, all of that stuff is back. There's increased competition and it's still going down in an empty building. Also, last week's show wasn't very good. So it's cool, man. It's nice to see, you know, ratings boost back up as well. NXT also had an increase, which is good. This is above their average number for 2020 as well. 753,000. Overall viewership is up about 50,000 from the previous week, and in the 18 to 49 demographic, we are sitting here looking at, I can't find the number on my iPad, 0.2, which is up from the previous week as well. So a combined total of 1.645 million people watched live pro wrestling on Wednesday night. We're still below Raw, but that's what happens when Raw did such a good job of marketing this week and you know, increased a little bit up to 1.7. We'll see what happens next week. We'll see if they can maintain. Looking at the quarter hours, AEW really benefited from a stronger than usual lead-in this week. I believe the show hit the airwaves with something like 950,000 total viewers, which is good. And that number in the 18 to 49 actually increased for the second quarter, which feeds into the promotion's theory that their biggest draws are in-ring action and not big silly segments and promos and stuff. So there's plenty to unpack here. There'll be even more later on when more detailed quarter hour numbers come back. But successful evening for both shows on Wednesday night. Good.
Yeah, fantastic news this. Like you say, surprising, massively surprising. I did a massive double take last night when I saw this for both shows, because myself and the Dadley Boys regularly predict, what we think the ratings are going to be. And I think we said both shows at best were going to do 700,000-ish. In that sort of range, possibly even 600 due to the other sports going on. Like you say, AEW show wasn't great last week as an incentive to watch. Yes, obviously there was a World Championship match, but I was just ecstatic for both shows, because I remember when we were reporting a combined number of like 1.4, maybe even less than that, so a 1.6 combined. With all the competition going on right now in the midst of this ongoing global bastard, as we said, fantastic to see. Really, really happy about all that.
Yeah, man. Momentum plus marketing equals numbers. Tony Maglio. It makes sense every single week, and here we are. They've defied expectations, both shows. Sports are back, wrestling's still doing pretty well, which is, it's nice to have some positive ratings news in the midst of all this, because every day it's just, this is down, and this is down, and this sucks, and this is crap. So here we are, man. It's sunny outside, it's sunny in here, and it's sunny through your screens. Sunny delight.
Well done, everyone. Let's transition over to NXT, though, because it has been confirmed the match for TakeOver 30 is happening. Former NXT champion Adam Cole versus former Hand Egg player, Pat McAfee. It's going down at NXT TakeOver 30, of course, Saturday, 22nd of August. Loads of rumours around this, obviously, surrounding it, following what happened in the main event of NXT this week. WWE.com broke the official story last night. There was Triple H going on other shows and saying, yep, Adam Cole wants to face Pat McAfee. He's calling him out. Why you wouldn't have Adam Cole make that challenge rather than Triple H, I don't know. But anyway, let's not get lost in the weeds here. People are unhappy about this, or upset, I should say, not necessarily unhappy. I love this. This joins, of course, Io Shirai versus Dakota Kai on that TakeOver card. Probably inevitably going to have Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee for the NXT Championship. You've got that NXT North American Championship ladder match. TakeOver 30 is shaping up to be a great show, Andy.
It's looking like a really good card, and this is just wacky, right? It's silly, it's weird. I can't really make a whole lot of sense of it, but that appeals to me at the moment. At the moment when we've got all these, nice little matches going down on Raw and SmackDown and Dynamite, and you get your little 3.5 stars here and there, sometimes I just want a totally different flavour. And Jort's guy, who annoys the piss out of me, wrestling Adam Cole after punting him in the head. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say this is going to be some kind of classic or whatever, but I think this could be a lot of fun. It's going to be based around Pat McAfee mistaking Adam Cole's head for a football, and Adam Cole's got a pretty big head for a relatively small body. I've got a huge dome as well, so don't get it twisted. I'm not hating on my big-headed brethren, but yeah, man, former punter for the Indianapolis Igloos, I believe.
Go Colts, baby.
That's the one. You can't. That's a swear word. Don't say "see you next Tuesday" on a video. Looking forward to seeing what comes. But man, I've always been more of a Norton guy than a McAfee guy, personally. So,
I gotta say, I love this. I absolutely love it. Like, using the fact he was punter of the decade, using the fact he has got one of the most punchable faces in the world. Like, he knows it. I don't think I'm slagging him off by saying this. I think he's worked. Look at the image that they've used where he's like, me. Like, oh God, I can't wait for Adam Cole to hit you with a bloody Panama sunrise or whatever it may be. I have no idea how this is going to go down. There's a checkered history, of course. Some good, some bad when it gets involved with celebrities and WWE. But I have faith with this. I'm excited to see it. And yeah, like 2 weeks away, I don't think they can screw this up.
Yeah.
a few moments later. Oh, and they've ruined it.
I guess the modern high point for something like this is Stephen Amell, and the low point would be Tyson Fury. So I would settle for either of those. I would settle for either of those. Wrestling is at its best when it's great or when it's terrible. So give me one of those, please. I don't care which one. Just hook it straight to my big bald face.
Yeah, in summary, like I've approached a lot of these WWE pay-per-views with, I think I said, morbid fascination is the way I've been describing a lot of it. Just like, ooh, what's going to happen? I've just got genuine excitement for TakeOver, so it's nice to have that feeling back again.
SummerSlam weekend's going to be a lot of fun. Absolutely. Pivot over to something a little bit more negative now for a bit, if we can. Looks like Brandi Rhodes has deleted her Twitter account. If you go on her page at the moment, it's all blank, it's all gone. It comes up with the "this account doesn't exist" gimmick. There's no word on why this is or whatever. Nothing official's come out, no comments, but it's probably potentially not a coincidence that this went down in a week where Brandi in particular has come in for immense criticism. We've had the launch of AEW Heels, which is a female-focused fan community. All sounded great and very inclusive and so forth until it was revealed that you had to pay $49 to sign up for this thing. There's also been a lot of criticism towards the AEW women's division. The tournament being on YouTube, only like 4 minutes of women on TV this week with the Britt Baker, Big Swole, Reba angle. Brandi's come in for a lot of flack recently, and okay, so there's things to unpack here. I'm well aware that this video is stretching on, but you don't care, it's Friday, baby. Absolutely, right? There are constructive, well thought out criticism debates to be had about the women's division, and we've had them on this channel, and Heels, the rollout and so forth as well. Cool, let's have those conversations. But at the end of the day, man, most of these conversations aren't constructive and well thought out if they're on Twitter. They're, foul, vile abuse from rancid little trolls who force people into making these decisions. And it doesn't matter if you're on TV every week. It doesn't matter if you've got a healthy bank balance and you're famous and you're well known and stuff. If you get that volume of just hateful bollocks thrown at you by tiny little bell ends, you're going to feel it, and it's going to have an impact on your life and your happiness. Stop being dicks to each other. Please, for the love of God. I'm well aware that this is a pointless point I'm making here, because bad people will not listen and good people don't do it because they're good people. Stop being dicks. Stop forcing things like this to happen. Thank you.
You're completely right, Andy. I mean, I get the frustration with the things you've mentioned there, with the dodgy booking, let's say, of the women's division AEW, this tag tournament, and then you mentioned AEW Heels and all that. But it's like going to someone's door, who runs this, and just going, "I hate you." It's like, you wouldn't say this sort of stuff in person. Come on, man. Chasing people off social media. I think I saw Joey Janela saying something similar about wanting to, get off social media or let someone else take care of his Twitter account because of all the abuse he's been getting. Look, I can't imagine what it must be like to open up your Twitter and just see page after page after page of that sort of thing. We get the odd comment here, but one or two comments, along with all the lovely stuff that people, send us, is kind of water off a duck's back. But yeah, when you're in a position of power, obviously, there are perils that come with that position, but you shouldn't be having to deal with this on a platform that is just meant for memes, GIFs, just stupid threads or whatever.
Yeah, just be nicer to each other. It shouldn't be difficult, man, but it is. You will feel better for it as well. Your life will be much more fulfilling if you choose not to be a bellend online. So
exactly.
Let's make that resolution.
Twitter is a place for my amazing joke last night, Andy. And the parking lot is the most dangerous place in NXT. It's been involved in a whole load of feuds. It's been involved numerous times. I suppose, Andy, you could call it a multi-story car park. I'm so proud of myself. Go and like that, because I need vindication, obviously. Speaking of NXT, here we are. We've made it, Andy, to the best, maddest story of the week. Remember the former WWE announcer Hugo Savinovich?
Oh, yeah.
He has made a sensational claim about, presumably, future NXT champion Karrion Kross. He was on a live stream, this is Savinovich, not Karrion Kross, conducted by the Lucha Libre Online Facebook page, and talking about Kross, he said he was a, quote, real-life life mercenary before making it big in professional wrestling, and that he used to do, quote, dirty jobs for organised crime groups. Savinovich continued, he's a warrior, he's an athlete that was once a hired murderer. I'm telling you, this is the real thing. Now, he did have kind of words for Cross and Scarlett. He said, now he's so passionate about wrestling and so in love with his girlfriend Scarlett. I love my friend. We have a great friendship. God bless him and bless his love. But he claims Cross is a murderer. What is going on?
What's he doing? What's Hugo doing? I'm like, what the hell is this? I can't make any sense of it. Now, Hugo's known for making these mental claims about things, and he's just had all kinds of wacky stuff out there. He's quality. He's great crack, but I struggle to think what his goal is here. Is it a kayfabe thing? Is he trying to make Cross, sell his gimmick or what? This is just insane, just calling a guy out as, hey, he was a mafia killer, whoa! I mean, the very serious subtext of this is that authorities get hold of it and start investigating the guy, which would be a real problem. But, at the moment, it's just a former WWE announcer. Going wild is the only phrase I can think of here.
Also, if you're trying to make me scared of Karrion Kross, I already am scared of Karrion Kross. Have you seen what he did? He destroyed Tommaso Ciampa. He Rocky Ford Dominic Dijakovic. Like, I am terrified of him. I'm completely expecting him to take the title off Keith Lee, and look at the bloody size of him. You don't need to do this sort of thing. But, on a Friday, I needed something like this. I think it's ridiculous. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture, WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from that guy from the corner store who says, if they're looking for us not only to watch but rewatch content for the network, how about Superstar work-along workouts or DDP yoga? It's a daily thing and you keep watching so you can move on to the next level. We're on words I can't use because we get demonetized. So why not work out? I love this idea.
This is a great idea. Why has no one thought of this before? It's such a no-brainer. Like, you've got some of the most elite athletes in the world at your disposal. I'm sure they've all got wild, wacky workout routines and some that could be adapted for home. This is such a great idea. You should copyright this and send it to them because that's excellent. Who doesn't need help working out at the moment as well, man? All of us. We all need that help because most of us are stuck indoors. And if you want to go to the gym, it's like a 50-minute process to wipe all your stuff down after you've done your 3 sets of 12. I've lost my words, but this is a really good idea. Yes.
Honestly, I read this and was like, any workouts. Obviously, you could have people who've done this sort of thing before, Sheamus, for example. But then also, I'm not saying we should do their workout regime because, well, it won't happen, to put it lightly. But people like Big E, Otis, imagine them just doing like a little 20-minute workout. I would be all over that, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd be rubbish at it, but I would still at least try because, just get any of the charismatic guys who are just, or girls, I should say, who are just hench and... I'd at least give it a go. I haven't worked out for about 6 months. Look at me. So
look at these bingo wings, man. We all need it.
Second question today comes from Derek, who writes, given the new Raw Underground, given the new Raw Underground idea, do you think they should use Shayna Baszler as the legit ass kicker? She really is rather than people like. Try this again. Shayna Baszler is the legit ass kicker she really is, rather than people like Dolphy Ziggles. And someone better than Shane on commentary, please.
Okay. Individually, I think Shane on commentary is a pain in the ass. They should stop that. I've said this 10 times this week. He's a billionaire son, and he can't throw a word punch. So no, he shouldn't be in that role. Dolph Ziggler is a legit amateur wrestling badass, so I'm not as put out by him being there. However, Shayna Baszler should absolutely be in that. She should be wrecking people constantly in that thing. I thought it was quite strange that she wasn't in the first part of it. To be honest, she could have showed up and whooped somebody's ass. And after the big online conversation about intergender wrestling this week, I think it would be really great if WWE pulled a grade A troll move and had her beat up 7 men in that thing just to annoy people who take this stuff too seriously. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but put Shayna in there, fits like a glove. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Samoa Joe on commentary. If you want to hear us talk a little bit more about this, myself and Michael Hamflett tomorrow on a podcast are going to be discussing whether Raw Underground can save Monday Night Raw. So make sure you check out WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for that. Although we all know it's not going to be Shayna Baszler. It's going to be Nia Jax, isn't it? Because she's banned and suspended from Monday Night Raw, but they didn't say anything about Raw Underground.
I hate you for putting that into my head.
I hate myself for being able to think the way WWE does sometimes. Final question today comes from Master J the Guy, who says, if you had to bring back a WWE pay-per-view name, which one would you choose? Mine is WWE No Mercy.
Oh, it's a good one. You know, man, like, we've got all these gimmick pay-per-views, right? We've got Hell in a Cell, we've got TLC, Extreme Rules, all these things. The Royal Rumble being the ultimate one, the ultimate gimmick match, the Royal Rumble. Everyone loves the Royal Rumble, but you know what other stipulation people love? And maybe the greatest stipulation to ever build a pay-per-view around? Fatal 4-Way. That's right. That's the pay-per-view I want to see return. You imagine all the exciting Fatal 4-Ways we could have on that marquee pay-per-view. Wow.
I can't believe they actually tried to do that.
It's absurd. The most, a more honest answer would be all the stuff from my youth, because, that's what I grew up on. So, Armageddon, Backlash, which pops up every now and then, No Mercy, like you said. What about some of the wackier ones? Fully Loaded, whatever.
Yes.
Insurrection, but spelt with
Insurrection, that's what I was going to say.
Yes. There we go. Same page.
Yeah, Insurrection, absolutely. It's cheating, but they own it now, I think. So Halloween Havoc, obviously, get the giant pumpkin back.
And the Yeti.
But I think the one I want the most is one I think we mentioned yesterday. Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Sunday, whatever you want to call it. I think there's scope for that in modern day WWE. You probably just have to create quite a few egg Twitters so you can make sure the results go your way. Egg. Oh, egg. I haven't done that in a while. Right, let's move on to today's. And finally, I want to say massive thank you to Ben, who is at _Zoipi, Z-O-I-P-I, who DM'd me the other day. He is a novice pixel artist in training. His art account is nlampre Pix. Basically, he's making some emotes for Twitch. Basically wanted to practice, make a little bit of a portfolio. And he's made, Andy Murray, these of us. Me saying the word work, you saying the word H, Jules saying oat for of all time, and two of Miller saying up and down. These are absolutely spectacular. Thank you so much for these, Ben.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Ben hit me up last week as well. I've DM'd him, spoken to him a few times, actually, when we were talking about Spanish wrestling and stuff. Lovely guy. Check out his work. Very talented dude. Great supporter of the channel. Very thankful for him. Very thankful for all of you as well. Hey, it's not Thanksgiving and we're no turkeys, but we love all of you.
Indeed. It's just reminding us how much more talented you guys are than both me and Andy combined. But thank you for that, Ben. It really means a lot. And as we said, thank you for everything that you guys do and make for us. It's genuinely a lovely thing to see every single morning. Right, let us know your thoughts on all of that and on all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts, of course. We've got the SmackDown preview a little bit later on today and Wrestle Culture with a hashtag Bloody Good Quiz. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there. Follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at...
Hey! You can follow me at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for, hey, this video's gone 28 minutes!
Sorry about this. We love chatting. I just love spending time with him. You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. The H stands for, I haven't got one in there, but it stands for happy birthday for me tomorrow. There's still time to send me your presents, You can follow all of us at WhatCulture WWE. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.